What's going on, guys? It's Sammy here from Built to Thrill, and today we're going into a video that has been kind of in production for a long time, but yet I've just gotten really lazy and haven't actually finished it. So this is how to build a backyard roller coaster foundation. And today we're going to go through two models, which is our beta model and our alpha model. So let's get into it. Before we start the video, I'd like to quickly show off our merch shop. Our merch shop helps us do things like build Shadowstalker. It helps us out tremendously, and if you're interested, please check it out in the link in bio. So starting with our beta model, these footers are actually quite easy compared to our alpha model. Now, these footers are just basically cinder blocks. You can find cinder blocks at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, or any other appliance store that may sell this kind of thing. Now, when you're doing it though, you have to put it in the ground. Now, it doesn't seem that deep, but it is definitely going to help you out as long as you do the cement, but we'll get to that in just a couple minutes. Now, before putting the footer into the ground, also known as a cinder block, you're going to want to mark out the territory. So I would do this by using wooden stakes or marking flags. I would definitely suggest marking flags, and this goes with all the footers just because it's easier to figure out exactly where you're putting it, and if you'd like, you could also tie a string from one marking flag to another to signify exactly what the distance is between each marking flag to show off the distance between each footer. Now, before putting the cinder block into the ground, you are going to have to dig a hole. Digging holes should only take up to 5 minutes at most, unless there may be a root or rocks in the way. Now, once that's all done, you can then put the footer / cinder block into the ground. When you put it into the ground, you are going to have to level it. Leveling may take 2-3 minutes max, but you want to make sure you do it right, so do not rush that process. Now that you have that footer done, you could start measuring out and putting other footers into the ground the same way. But there are still a couple other things you're going to have to know for each footer. When it comes to each footer, on the side that won't have the pull in it, you're going to put sand in. Now, sand is going to prevent any shaking going on in the footer. That way you're not wasting money on extra cement, but it's also helping with the structural sound of the substructure. Now, the last thing with these footers are to put the pull in and pour the concrete. Now, you're not using a lot of concrete every footer because you already have the form there made out of the cinder block. So what you do is you're going to put the pole in and level the pole. You may need an extra person just to stand there to hold the pole with the level. Once that's level, you could pour the concrete in. What I would suggest is, instead of holding the pole up, putting a couple pieces in the pole to stand it up on its own. That'll make sure that way you don't have to hold it, because especially with the larger poles, they could shift over the time and you can just let it be for as long as it needs. Now, the alpha model is completely different. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's and get a footer form tube. Now, these come in multiple different sizes. The ones that I got were 8 inches, and they were also 4 feet long. Now, when you get these 4 feet long, you're going to want to chop them into 2. That way you can do 2 footers, and then also it's 2 feet into the ground, which is more than enough for a backyard roller coaster. Now, you can get the 10-inch form, but I more recommend the 8-inch just because it's more suitable for the lower tier kind of roller coaster we're doing. From here, you're going to have a very similar process to the beta model. You're going to dig your hole, you're going to mark it out, you're going to put the footer form in, and then you're going to level it. After this, you're going to need to buy a box of saddles. Now, saddles look like kind of like a U-shaped thing that'll have the 4x4 fit into. Those 4x4s will be attached later, but first what you're going to do is you're going to get a little, I would call a 1-foot 4x4, and then you're going to attach it to the U, or the saddle as I'd like to call it, and then you're going to sit it on top of the footer form. Once you've lined up your saddle on the footer form, you're going to then pour the concrete into the footer. Shouldn't be too hard to avoid it. Mix the concrete with a Home Depot bucket, I'd say that goes for both of them, and just pour it in from there. And everything else is pretty simple. The better thing about this model than the Beta model footers are that you can slide the 4x4 pole in and also take it out without having to take the footer out. With the Beta model, you would definitely have to take the footer out because it is in a cinder block. That's basically going to do it for today's how-to video. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, I know this video took about 7 months or so to come out because I teased it back in like July, but I hope you guys did learn something today, and if you have any more questions, feel free to message us on Instagram or email us at blackstallionbrc@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.